The other day I subscribed to Blinkist. They had a good Black Friday deal, so I finally decided to take the plunge. If you don't know what Blinkist is, it's basically a book summarization app. They say you can get powerful ideas in minutes with their summaries of the world's most popular books. I signed up, and to be honest, I was pretty disappointed. The app works on both desktop and mobile. This is how the desktop version looks. So you can look through different types of books. Let's choose this one, The Practicing Stoic. Then you can choose to read the book summary or listen to the book summary on audio. So if I click read, you get bite-sized information on this book in the form of what they call blinks, hence the name Blinkist. And you can get through this book in about 15 minutes, reading its entire summary. And then you can move on to the next one, like How to Be a People Magnet. So the point of this is you can read multiple books in a short period of time, get all of the knowledge from these famous books. But when I was reading these summaries, they were so poorly written. It felt like a summary of a summary. So lots of room for improvement. But based on what I know about AI, I actually think it's very easy to make a Blinkist clone. We can use something like ChatGPT to summarize the world's greatest books, and then an app like Elevenlabs to read out the audio. Blinkist states that they release a handful of new book summaries every month, but with AI, we can do this much faster. We can pump out the entire library of human knowledge in just a few minutes. So let's work on building out a Blinkist clone in bubble.io. All right, in Bubble, first I'm going to name my app. I'm going to call it Blinkist Clone. Let's click Get Started. Now there needs to be 2 pages that we build in this app. The first page is going to be all of our book selection, where the user can go in and click the book that they want to read. And the next section is going to be the actual contents of the book with the audio at the bottom. Let's make that second page first. So I'm going to go to add a new page. Let's call it Contents. I'm going to double click on the page. Let's go to Layout. We're going to change this to Column. That means elements are going to stack one on top of each other. And let's make the preset page width mobile. And we'll drop this down to 500 pixels wide just to get a visual of how it's going to look on the screen. In this top section is going to be some text. Let's make it a bit bolder and a bit larger. And just as a placeholder, I'm going to write blink number 1. Now, obviously for our app, we don't want to call things blinks. But just to get an idea of how the app is structured and how it looks, we'll be keeping those words for now, and we can always change it later. I'm going to right click on this, group elements in a column container, and in this group, I'm going to give it some padding, 25 pixels all the way around, just so the elements are not stuck right to the edge of the screen. Now let's add a shape element. I'm going to drop it in here. We're going to uncheck make this element fix width. Let's delete the min width, but this is only going to be 1 pixels tall. And we're just getting a line to separate this element from the elements below it. In the group, I can check apply gap spacing between elements and then make this something like 20 pixels. So now every time I drop in an element, it's going to automatically space it 20 pixels apart. Okay, next we need another text element. And in this text element, we're also going to use a placeholder that says blink 1 summary. Okay, now I can go to data, and in my data types, I'm going to create a new type. Let's call this a book. I'm going to click create. We also need another data type. We're going to call this a blink. Let's click create. And in the book data type, we're going to create a new field, and this is called blinks. So that field type is going to be blink, and it's going to be multiple entries. Let's click create. So for each book, we're going to have a list of blinks within that book. In a blink, we're going to have a title that is going to be text. Let's say create, and that blink is also going to have its contents. You can also call that a summary. This is going to be a text as well. Hit create. Back in design, I'm going to double click on the page. The type of content is going to be book, and the contents of this group is also going to be book, and it's going to be the current page's book. For the text element, instead of blink number 1, we're going to go insert dynamic data. It's going to be parent group's book, blinks, and we can go item number 1. We're going to change that item number later, but we'll keep it just to start. And then let's keep going here. It's going to be the title. And for the summary text, we're going to do the same thing. Insert dynamic data. It's parent group's book, blanks, item number 1. But this time it's the summary. We can test it out by going to data. Now for book, I'm just going to add book title. Let's make that text. This will allow us to go to app data, books, new entry. Let's call this test book, hit create. Then we're going to go to blinks. We're going to go new entry. Let's go test blank 1 and the summary. This is a summary of the chapter. Hit create. I'm going to go into this blank, copy the unique ID, go to books, and under this book, paste in that blank, click add, then save. Now we're going to grab that book unique ID, preview that page, and paste that unique ID right at the end of the URL. This is going to show us the test blank page. And there we go, test blank 1. This is a summary of the chapter. At the top of the page, I want 2 icons. Let's go to layout, make it first. I'm going to select an icon. Let's search for left. This will give us a left arrow. Then I'm going to copy this, paste it in. Let's move it to first. I'm going to hold shift, grab both of these icons, right click, group elements in a row container. That puts it from left to right. Let's change the min width and min height. And then we're going to click this container alignment to stretch both icons right across from each other. Instead of left, this one is going to be right. And there we go. We have a left and right arrow so that we can change between the blinks. Next, we're going to want an audio player at the bottom of the page. Let's go to plugins, add plugins. I'm going to type in audio player. And let me scroll down. I'm going to select this one right here. Let's go to design, search for audio in the elements, and drag this onto the page. Let's remove the fixed width, refresh the page, and we see the audio player right down here. Now let me go to the index page. I'm going to double click on the page, change it to a column container layout. Preset page width is mobile. We're going to do 500 pixels again. This will be the explore page where your users can find new books to read. I'm going to grab a text element, put it on the page. Let's make it a bit bolder and a bit larger. We're going to call this explore. And just as I did on the last page, let's right click, group elements in, column container, and then add 25 pixels padding all the way around. We'll do the shape thing again, add that in. Let's click on the group, apply gap spacing between elements, make that 20 pixels. And on this shape, it's not going to have a fixed width, but it is going to be 1 pixel tall. Okay, let's grab a repeating group, throw that onto the page. A repeating group in Bubble is a list of multiple data items. So we want to show all the books in our catalog on the Explore page. Let's make this visually appealing. So remove fit width to content. Let's remove a min width. We're going to make this a bit bigger so I can see what's going on. In it, I think we need an image. This is going to be the cover of the book. Let's make it an aspect ratio of 2:3. This will make it look kind of like a book cover. This can be 100 pixels wide. We also need a text element. I'm going to click on the repeating group. We're going to make it a row. And let's move the book image to the left. So here it's going to be the book title. Let's copy and paste another text element, hold them together. Let's group elements in a column container. Below the book title is going to be the author. Let's copy and paste another one. Below that is going to be a mini description. Now I can make this look a bit better. The book title is going to be maybe 18 pixels and definitely a bit bolder. Let's add a margin of 5 pixels. That spaces the text element 5 pixels from the bottom one. We're going to make the author a little smaller. Let's make that 12 pixels and maybe 5 pixels from the bottom as well. And we'll keep the description as normal. Let's click on the cover image. We'll go 15 pixels to the right and then click on that group with all the book information and then center it within the repeating group. Clicking on the repeating group, I'm going to set the type of content to book, and the data source is going to be do a search for, and it's going to be books. It's just going to search our entire database for all of the books. You could also set filters, and this could be things that your user selects, like genre, style, author, does it have audio or not. We're going to keep it simple for now. Now in my data type, under books, we are going to add author. This field type is a text. Hit create a new field. We're going to go cover image. This field type is an image. Hit create. And then another one, description. This field type is also a text. Hit create. Now in design, this image is going to be dynamic. Insert dynamic data. It's going to be the current sells book, its cover image. In this group, the type of content is going to be book. Data source is the current sells book. And then we can go to book title, make this dynamic as well. Parent group's book, its book title. For the author, dynamic, parent group's book, author. And description, dynamic, parent group's book, description. You can see in the repeating group, each cell is a new book. And if you have hundreds of books, this repeating group will show all of the books in your library. To test it out in my app data, let's click on that book. We're going to give a sample cover image. We'll do a picture of this eagle holding a stick. The author is going to be me, WesGPT. I'll write a dummy description, click save. Now testing that explore page, I see the test book with all of my sample data. And I could even do something like this. Click the image, hold shift, click the other group, right click, group elements in. We'll do a row container. I'm going to call this group book. We'll go add workflow. When this group book is clicked, we're going to click to add an action, navigation, go to page. We're going to go to the contents page, and the data we're going to send is the current sells book. So on this page, if I click on this cell, it's going to go to the test blink 1. This is a summary of the chapter. Perfect. Now that we have the basic visuals of the app done, let's start using AI to actually generate the summaries. I'm going to go into ChatGPT and write me a system prompt for GPT-4 Omni that takes an entire chapter of a nonfiction book and writes a one-page summary of the contents, kind of like a Blinkist blink. The user will provide the chapter of the book, and the AI needs to turn that into actionable, readable content. Just a general idea of what we're looking for. Let's send it in. Okay, I'm going to copy this entire system prompt. Let's go to Customize ChatGPT. We're going to enable it for new chats, and the custom instructions is going to be this. It's our system prompt. I'm going to take this top part, put it into this section down here, and keep the custom instructions for this part. Let's hit save. If you want to get books to start summarizing, you can search in Google something like Rich Dad, Poor Dad PDF. You can start with getting free books. Eventually you can move to buying the books and then copying that text and pasting it into ChatGPT for the summary. If you want to be really risky, you can use something like Anna's Archive to torrent the books for free, but be careful. But anyways, here's a copy of Rich Dad, Poor Dad in PDF format. I'm going to go to chapter 1 and copy all of this text. Then paste that text into ChatGPT, and let's see the summary it comes up with. We'll copy that summary. I'm going to go back to my Bubble app. In the blinks, I'm going to edit this sample one. Let's paste in the summary. If you want to go one step further, you can actually format this text in BB code so it displays better for your readers. And for the title, I'm going to call it Chapter 1. Let's hit save. Next, I'm going to take Chapter 2, copy it, and paste it into ChatGPT, send it in, and here we get a summary of Chapter 2. He calls it Lesson 1, The Rich Don't Work for Money. I'm going to copy this summary with the practical takeaway. We're going to click New Entry, paste in that summary. For the title, call it Lesson 1, The Rich Don't Work for Money. Let's hit Create. I'm going to go into that blank, copy the unique ID, go into that book. Let's add it as one of the blinks. Click Add. We'll update all of these details in a second. But let's do one more chapter. This is Chapter 3. Copying all of the text, pasting it into ChatGPT, hitting Enter. And here we go. Lesson 2. Why Teach Financial Literacy. I'm going to copy this summary with the practical takeaways. Let's click New Entry in Blinks, paste in the summary. copy lesson 2, why teach financial literacy. We're going to use that as the title, hit create, and then take that Blink's unique ID and add it to the book. So I can keep doing this for all of the chapters, or maybe combine chapters, maybe 2 or 3 of them at a time into one Blink to shorten the summary up even more. Rich Dad, Poor Dad's author is Robert Kiyosaki. I'm going to copy that, paste it into the author name. The book title is Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and I can copy this description from Wikipedia, throw it in here. I'm going to right click, save image as, and then upload that cover image. There we go. Let's hit save. Now on the Explore page, we see the Rich Dad, Poor Dad book. I can click into it, and we see our first summary. Now, Blinkist also has the option for audio. Instead of reading the Blinkist text, we can listen to it instead. And if we want real sounding voices generated with AI, I recommend using something like Elevenlabs. If I go into the voices section, I can test some of these. Here's Adam.
Our distrust is very expensive.
Here is Bill.
As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others.
And here is Jessica.
If you spend your whole life waiting for the storm, you'll never enjoy the sunshine.
I can actually use a different voice for each of the different books to keep things fresh, or I can go through and test all of these and see which one I like the most, which one sounds like a real human being. But in the text-to-speech section, let's grab that first summary, paste it in here. We are going to select a different person. Let's use that Bill voice, and then click Generate Speech. After it's finished generating, I'm going to click on the download button at the bottom. Okay, it's been downloaded to my computer. I'm going to go into my Bubble app, and under Blink, I'm going to create a new field. This is going to be audio. This field type is going to be a file. Let's hit create. And in my app data, I'm going to scroll down to the first Blink and add that audio file. Let's click save. Now on the contents page, in that audio player, the link to the audio is going to be insert dynamic data. It's going to be the parent group's book, Blinks, item number. Remember, we did 1, and it's going to be that Blinks audio, specifically its URL. So now on that chapter 1 page, I can click play on the audio player down here, and it sounds like this.
On having 2 influential father figures with opposing financial philosophies. His biological father, the poor dad, was highly educated with traditional views on money, prioritized job security, avoid risks, and depend on external systems like pensions and entitlements. Conversely, his rich dad, a self-made millionaire with little formal education, emphasized financial independence, taking risks, and developing financial literacy.
That's absolutely beautiful. I love how this sounds. It's clean and neat. You can read it while listening as well. You got multiple options, but I did leave one part out. How do I get to the next Blink in this book? Remember, we have the arrows at the top. So on the page, I'm going to double click. We're going to go to info up here. We're going to add a new custom state, and that state is going to be called Blink number. That state type is going to be a number. Let's hit create. The default value is going to be 1. And what we're going to do is for each of these elements, let's go in. Instead of item number 1, we're going to change 1 to contents. That's the name of the page. And then that custom state, which is Blink number. Let's do the same for the summary. Change 1 to contents, Blink number. And then the audio portion, change 1 to contents, Blink number. Then when this right arrow is clicked, let's go to add workflow. We're going to click to add an action. Element action, set state. The element is contents. That's the name of the page. The custom state is Blink number. And the value is going to be contents, Blink number plus 1, which means we're going to add 1 to that Blink number every time the right arrow is clicked. Let's do the same for the left arrow. We're going to add workflow. I'm going to copy this, paste it into the other one, but instead it's going to be a -1. We can also add an only when condition so that the user cannot go below 1. And we can go only when contents Blink number is greater than 1. So if the Blink number is at 2, it will subtract 1 to get to 1. But if it's at 1, this workflow will not run. And I can copy this, go to the additional one, and let's say this page had 10 blinks. It would be only when content's blink number is less than 10. Previewing the page, I'm going to click on this arrow at the top, and boom, it changes to the next blink. And if I click it again, it changes to the blink after that. You could always change it to make it look like the Blinkist app. So they have a background color. It's a flat color, and it's kind of like a greenish blue. And I could turn this font, let's turn it white. The summaries are white as well. We'll make the arrows white at the top. And then on mobile, it would look like this with the audio at the bottom. If this video was interesting to you and you want to learn more about building your own custom app using AI tools, check out my online course, How to Build a Custom AI App. If you followed this video through and through and you wanted to learn how to actually monetize this, Module 4 would be perfect for you. It teaches you how to connect and integrate with Stripe so that your users would have to pay you before reading the blinks. I'll leave a link to this course in the description below. If you want to build and run a comprehensive business suite of AI agents for your company, check out youraiagent.com. This is a web app that I built, and we have 16 different AI agents right now, with more being added each week. Everything from auto blogging to chatbots to AI email support, LinkedIn bots, Reddit bots, Amazon affiliate bots, Twitter bots, Tumblr bots, and YouTube comment responders. I'll leave a link to your AI agent in the description as well. And if you like this video, I put 2 more on the screen right now. Both have been catered to your personal YouTube watch history. Give one of them a click for me, give it a watch, and I'll see you in there. Later.